gee, 2 KDFs in a row again? Does that mean you have to wear glasses again? Yes! Today we're showcasing 2 races for the PlayStation. Okay, yeah, they're multi-platform, but I don't give a shit. Vanishing Point, a game that is unrelated to any of these. The game was developed by Clockwork Games and published by Acclaim. While it's a Dreamcast game when first released in late 2000, a port for the PlayStation was released in February 2001 in the US. This is Clockwork's last game before they've been defunct. I never knew yet. It should not be confused with other Clockwork games, where it was originated from Beyond Reality games. Man, imagine if there's another person nicknamed Sassy Patty. Heads will roll! The game only has arcade mode when it comes to single player gameplay. Shame. There's single race, tournament, and time trial. Simple enough, but there's also CWG Rally, which is locked from the start. Once you unlock it, it's basically just one lap race rally or whatever. In fact, aside from the multiplayer stuff and Stunt Driver, all the races are just time attacks. Single race and tournament are races against the clock with traffic, and time trial is the same but without it. It's quite unusual. Think of it as the passing events in the rifle section of Forza Motorsport 4. Remember when you could just call it Forza 4? Nowadays, whenever I search for it, I specify the game. Otherwise, it just shows results for Forza Horizon 4. It's f***ing annoying. Oh, right, the game. Unlike many titles, each car in tournament mode has 3 heats, and you start with a Mustang and a Ford Explorer. Yeah, this game has an unusual selection of cars. Out of all the cars it has, you can drive a goddamn Ford Ranger, and those other cars which are considered by the game as secret cars. Like the old Thunderbird, the Volkswagen Bus, the Lincoln Town Car, and the 6-speed version of the Alfa GTV. Why not? When in Rome, do as Polyphony does. They're only available in single race and time trial though. For the gameplay itself, be warned that you're gonna skid a lot. This game is notorious for its handling system. Even if it's a big old SUV or a Mini Cooper, you'll skid like a broken shopping cart. It feels like the controls are sensitive and most of the time you'll understeer and hit a wall. It's rather unnecessary for it to be like this, other than to make the game harder. But it's not as ridiculous as, say, Ridge Racer, as the physics here are amazing for a PS1 game. For instance, you can make your car roll over and be upside down. Gran Turismo, eat your heart out. They had to wait another 6 or 9 years to achieve that on the next gen console. Despite that, it can lead to opponents being idiots and this happening. What the f***? The traffic cars as well as the opponents are annoying. There are nothing more than aggressive traffic cars with their arrows highlighting them, which you can remove, since all you do is beat the clock and yet they like to ram at you, avenge you, and unintentionally make you crash into them. Definitely not my fault, I swear! But be prepared for the harder cars, as a mistake traffic cars make can break your momentum, meaning you have to repeat the heat all over again. Even worse is when you crash and go backwards. Unlike most races where holding the brake button can also serve as reverse, or even Gran Turismo where it has a dedicated button for it, if you're in auto you have to shift the reverse to do that. Just like an actual auto gearbox, because that isn't even more annoying. Seriously, stop mixing simulation with arcade in a bad way! I love how in tournament mode there are 40 drivers racing around the track, as if 8 or 12 wasn't enough. For tracks, it's a mishmash of city tracks, desert, alpine, British countryside, and shoreline roads. It has the aesthetic tropes commonplace in other arcade or even simcade racers. Space shuttles like in Daytona USA, giant satellite dishes like Hot Pursuit and Sega GT, night racing like countless other racers, an airport next to something improbable, and a nuclear power plant in the city. It's so predictable, it's great. Who cares that there are shuttle launches next to the city? Who cares about the toxic gases from the rockets? As long as they look cool, it doesn't matter. Some tracks are less than 2 miles and are merciful, while others kind of feel like a drag. Makes you wonder where the map option is. Spoilers, there isn't. In single race, winning unlocks the next track, while in tournament, winning a tourney might unlock a new car parts, MPVs, and most depending on the car. Oh gee, MPVs and slideshows? How rewarding. One other big mode is Stunt Driver, where you do these tests like in Gran Turismo, only more absurd like Stuntman. You do stunts to earn points judged by these requirements. You do a big jump, pop balloons, drive around slaloms, and back, do a barrel. Man, I wish that guy came back and say, it's actually an aileron roll. Speaking of which, this mission. Whenever I try, I keep failing and get my car upside down and touch the red zone. I did 3 times and then gave up, knowing that I'll never progress to the next level. Basically, I'm like my dad whenever he's losing to me. I have to say, aside from the graphical and sound downgrade, which is to be expected, this is an amazing port from the Dreamcast version. Being ported in-house, it has all the features save for internet play, all the content, and the same gameplay as is. Which makes anyone question the point of getting the Dreamcast version. Internet play? Presentation-wise, it's beautiful, even with the shimmering and the warping. It's quite amazing for a PS1 game. Sure, it's a late title release in the 2000s, but still, it puts Test Drive 6 to shame in comparison. Maybe it's just me, but the car models remind me of those from Gran Turismo. I mean, take a look at this spinning model of the TVR Cerbera, and tell me if that doesn't scream Gran Turismo to you. It's amazing! Sound is alright, due to the nature of the PlayStation they had to be compressed, although that doesn't excuse the lack of the Doppler effect in the replays. Music is all original, all electronic. It's actually quite pleasurable to listen. One of my favorites is Q. In hindsight, they probably should have renamed it to something else though. Ooh, Sassy getting lightly political like she always does. Paragon is also a favorite of mine. Before I end this, can I talk about the intro for a bit? This has to be the most inaccurate intro I've ever seen. First off, there are no traffic cars going to the opposite direction. Second, there aren't any big trucks with trailers that explode. Third, you can't go off track or destroy your car. And finally, this has a rocking beat, which is so out of place. It's like whoever made this never played the game before and thought they were making an intro for a test drive game. Either that or that's Clockwork's original vision, and they're like, screw it, make it like Outrun or something. Overall, it's an average yet frustrating game which has an annoying enemy system coupled with annoying traffic. I have read comments about the upcoming reboot of Grid saying that the game is more arcadey than the first Grid. Like I care, at least it won't be as bad as this. Hey, can I sit next to you? I need some company. Is that you, Sarah? What happened? I don't want to talk about it. Can I sit? Sure, knock yourself out. I hope I'm not disturbing your review process or anything. Wipeout, a game that is unrelated to any of these. Psygnosis, whatevs. Previously known for a really short while as Finchbeat, it was a company originally from Liverpool, founded by ex-Imagine employees after its demise. During the Amiga era, they were mostly known for publishing such aesthetically pleasing yet barely acclaimed titles, like the Beast games, Menace, Terrapods, Agony, no not that, and the most famous at that time, Lemmings. They were responsible for putting several developers on the map, like Rockstar North, previously known as DMA Design, Bizarre Creations, Traveller's Tales, Reflections, Blue Blight, the creators of the Anno series, and DICE. But then, in 1993, it was bought by Sony, which is super weird at the time. Why would someone that doesn't have anything to do with gaming buy a gaming company? That's just absurd. Little did they know about the things to come. A new console from them was on the horizon, slated for a 1995 release in the West, and Sony told Psygnosis, go develop something. The company's previous attempts at developing were subpar to say the least, but they tried again, and what they came up is, well, this game. Damn, I give a big old background to the company than the other from the previous game. It's what you get when you're unfortunately unknown to anybody. Anyway, Wipeout was released as a PS1 launch title in Europe. Ha! Not only that, but it was even on PC and Sega Saturn. What? That thing got 2 Wipeout games. From a company that was bought by Sony, I thought it was a PS1 exclusive. There is also a Wipeout game for the N64. Damn! They're kinda like how Insomniac used to be. Wow, look at this basic ass menu. It's weird that this game only has 2 tiers, Venom and Rapier, and like 4 teams to choose from, as well as the drivers, at least compared to the next 2 games. The game only has 7 tracks total, one of them being unlocked by winning Rapier. Please pronounce it Rapier. Anyways, let's start this. When it comes to gameplay, imagine playing Super Mario Kart while on ecstasy. Wait, is that why the E is the only uppercase letter on the logo? Like any other kart racer, X is for gas, D-pad for turning, and circle for your weapons. You also have L2 and R2 for the air brake, which is very useful for tight corners. You're gonna use that a lot, especially in the later tracks. It controls well, but unlike the exclusive competition that I think of, F-Zero, they have weight, and they like to balance after landing a big jump for some reason. I hate it when you hit a wall. If you do, your ship comes to almost a complete halt, and it's quite annoying. And don't think scripting will save you, because this doesn't have it. It's as annoying as the opponents not letting you pass them. Come on! Thankfully, there's these turbo pads which can recover you from such incidents. And it's a great time to talk about the weapons. When you drive over the cross paths, it gives you a randomized power up. Like rockets, homing missiles, shockwaves, mines, which can be planted behind you, boost, shields, which prevents you from using any picked up power-ups when using it for a short time, and... shoot, that's basically it. Normally this doesn't have checkpoints or time limits. If you expect actual eliminations, look elsewhere, because all the attacking power-ups do is slowing you and or your rivals down, and nothing else. Although it can be a nuisance when racing in the harder tracks. Oh yeah, I said the past preventing measures weren't enough to make you mad, the tracks will. The first tracks are kind of easy, but the starting track, Ultima 7, being a good one for newbies. Carbonus 5 and Terramax has these jump cuts, which these robots will save you if you fall from these. But other than that, despite being easy, air brakes is your friend. And hopefully you'll love it once you get to— suka bliat! The Dark Roads of Corrodera is a tough one, having some tight corners and the chicane with which I still fall for it, as I keep thinking there's gonna be the split at the end. Then there's Harridos 4, which isn't as bad until you reach the twisted section before that big hill. Those undulations will make you their bitch. And then there's the most infamous track in the game. The one that gives me nightmares whenever I try sleeping. A name that shudders even the pros of the game. The one, the only, Silverstream. This is just the worst. There's a lot of tight corners forcing you to use the air brakes, blind jumps, and these unforgiving splits. Anyone who played and knows that when racing, you should always take the left branch at the start, then on the next split go right and left. Despite being really hard to master, and the boost pads on the exit of the left branch at the start, launching you to hit a wall if you're not careful, it's actually the quickest way to drive around the track. Otherwise, you'll end up wondering where the opponents are. I don't want to remember how many times I tried at least third place to finish the championship. That's how infuriating it is. Thankfully it is only the first skip, but my god, this track is horrible! Wait till she tries Tempest Bay. Oh, and speaking of which, in tournament mode, you must always finish at least third place to qualify. So it doesn't matter if you did great in the first 5 tracks, if you finish 4th or below in Silverstream, you must restart the race until those retries are gone. Talk about defeating the purpose of a tournament, you know. What is this, Rage Race the 4th? I get that it takes inspiration from Super Mario Kart, but that's just too much! Once you win the Venom class, Rapier class is unlocked, which is much faster and more brutal. And you won't see me do that, will ya? Not after the Silverstream madness. Sure, winning that class will unlock Firestar, but you can also enter a combination of buttons to unlock that as well. Basically, it's Monolithic Studios, but on Mars! And without the Hollywood crap. The layout may look simple, and there's only like 2 splits right at the beginning that aren't as bad as the previous track, but it can be challenging with the jumps and this chicane at the end. For presentation, it looks dark, quite literally. The first track especially looks muted and lack any sort of light, almost as if it takes place at dusk. Even in Rapia class, it still looks lifeless, even with the spectators cheering. It can look comfy in some later tracks, but Corrodera looks drab and Firestar is all red. Not as bad as Sonic 1 though. It looks dated of course, but I do love the aesthetic of it, all thanks to the Designers Republic. Their minimalist philosophy is what I crave for. The chibi anime stuff, colorful art that pop, gratuitous Japanese characters, the works. They definitely scream Wipeout to me, and so does the music. If you're American, the NTSC version only has songs made by Cold Storage, and they do sound good, although a few don't scream Wipeout to me, like Message. Thankfully, the PAL version has 4 extra tracks, one from Cold Storage and rest from Leftfield, Orbital, and the Chemical Brothers. Now, Chemical Beats really screams Wipeout for me. Look, I've been spoiled by 2097, okay? Oh, can't forget about the sounds. I can barely listen to the whines from the vehicles. What I like about it is that the voice will warn you about the opponent's weapons that they're about to use, which will scare your chances away from winning. And yes, those voices inspire the ones from Ballistic NG, and I really need to get that. Wipeout is something that I shouldn't recommend due to obvious reasons, but it's something that you should at least play once. Just be one that it's really challenging. I'd hate to play what the sequels throw at me. Well, that's over with. Time to watch TV for a while. We are now live from the Lions near Vancouver, where another forest fire is happening. Susan, supposedly the fire was man-made like the previous one a month ago. Is that correct? Sarah?
Yes.
Turn it off!
Turn it off!
Sorry. It's just that after that huge fire at the parking lot, I developed a severe case of pyrophobia. God damn it. As if the attempted rape on the same day wasn't enough. Wait, is that why you... Let's not talk about it. And yes, the fire took away my car. As if that mattered, I could just buy another car. A lot of people died there. No. I may not help you with your problems, but I can help you find a car for you. Please be anything but a Warby this time.